Hello everyone and welcome back to John Builds. Okay, so after been working on this Sopwith Camel for nearly 4 years, I'm getting to one of the critical parts of the build now, where we're actually going to add these side panels and this nose cone to the wooden frame. So like I say, this is working from stage 28 in the build, like I say, so it's one of the most critical parts of the build. If somewhere along the line I've got something not right, something's not lined up, then none of these side panels, this nose cone, is going to fit nice. Yeah, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I managed to get everything all fitted nice, and these side panels are going to fit like a dream. Okay, so where I left off on the end of the last video, I was trying this nose cone on, which wasn't fitting. So since the end of the last video, I've actually made that fit, and I've actually fitted the starboard side, let's see, pilot's cover. So that's all fitted now. So I thought I'd obviously, I wasn't planning on making a video fitting these parts because this is quite a tricky part in the build. I thought I'd actually film this just to show you all how to, if anybody's building this or people building this kit in the future, just to how to fit this, because it's quite a difficult part of the build, because we're building all this, bringing all this wooden frame together. We're starting to fit, obviously, these metal parts to the wooden parts. And we've got to really, I must say, we've got some gaps that we can't ever, it's not like a plastic kit that you can fill and join, so we've got to make sure that these fit and join really nice. So I was going to show you in this video now. So a little bit of housekeeping as well. I'm still working on this this next lower section and the wing. These can take up to a week to be finished off. There's that much little components that you have to add on, especially the metal parts. You have to add them on and then let them dry. You know, you add all the little metal components. You have to use the 2 parts epoxy, let them dry. Then same again, I glue on the front, these little laminated front parts, and let them dry, and then add the bottom ones. So yeah, so while I'm waiting for these to kind of dry, I've been kind of going backwards and forwards. Yeah, I've been going backwards and forwards and working a little bit on the wings and then a little bit on the body. So a couple of things that I didn't do when I fitted the port side wing is, when we do join the 2 wings, we've got some obviously these tensioning wires to add. So I found that it's actually easier just to get this on first, so when you do join the wings, then they're in place, ready to go. And I've actually attached this cable that actually would alter. It is attached to the little cockpit joystick, and that would alter the aileron. So I'd fit as that as well, because once you've fitted this little side skirt, then you can't get in to do that. So I have made a little bit of a mistake where I can get access in to do this side. I have got the access into this one. I'll bring you in closer so you can see. Yeah, you've got to kind of go all the way along the wing and then up through that little hole, through the little bracket, and then onto the little cockpit joystick. So yeah, so I have made a little bit of a mistake. Well, not really a mistake, but I just made it hard for myself by having this panel fitted already. So yeah, I'm kind of cost myself a little bit of time. Okay, so I've got this this second panel. This is the one I was working on in the video last. So like I say, we've got these little brackets down there that need to be feeded in around this wing section, and I've also added the exhaust part as well. So now we have to kind of feed it in and work it around 3 pieces. So we've got the nose cone, we've got the exhaust pipe, plus now we have these little brackets that we have to make sure fit around this wing section. So the best thing to do with this is I just took my file, take the file, and I just keep filing this this little section wider until I'm happy that it fits. Because last thing you want to do is, you might need a little bit slight backwards and forwards adjustment. So the last thing you really want is where you can't adjust it at all, because like I said, this nose cone comes on, so if that's, you can't move that backwards and forwards slightly, then it's going to make that quite difficult to fit. Yeah, so all you need to do is mainly on this front edge and that gap there is just keep taking. Don't worry about it if you split that bit, because that bit's hiding, but yeah, I have cracked that. Keep working on it, but just keep filing a bit back. So yeah, you want to make sure that this nose cone fits on really nice and smooth now. In fact, I made it a little bit too probably too loose, but I wanted it where I can actually get loads of gluing, clamping pressure on that to keep it all together, because you don't glue that on until later on. So same again, all I did is took my little rotary USB drill, put a little sand drum on the front, and I just went along the front edge. And all I did is slightly add a chamfer on the front edge, so it just makes it easier for this nose cone to slide on. And we've got two little raised parts there that fit in these little sections of the nose cone, so you just have to make sure that they're nicely sanded as well, so it all fits on nice and smooth. Okay, so we'll give this a little bit of a test fit. So same again, we've got to try and get it through that exhaust bracket now and down around them sections of the wing. So we kind of feed it in along there, and then let it drop over that exhaust pipe. Like I say, I won't bring any glue in yet, but I just want to test fit that. So on the instruction it tells you not to glue in the front edge. So what I did for the starboard side is I literally just put a bead of glue down the edge, and I put a little bit of beaded glue around that exhaust pipe where. We'll do that in a second. Okay, so what you have to do is you've got to try and get everything all married up. So you bring on this front edge, and then you have to try and lean it in, which is not too bad, but that's because it's obviously a wooden kit and it's quite a fragile kit. I mean, people know that I've been building this for quite some time. It never felt like there was much holding it together, so I think what I'm going to have to do is to close that gap when I glue it together is I'm going to get one of these G clamps and get it right on that back edge there and right on the front edge. And I think as the glue's drying, we can squeeze that together. That'll pull that gap in quite nice, actually. Well, that's quite not too bad at all. I can live with that. And then we'll come on this top edge where the glue is there, and we can put a little clamp behind that section. Yeah. I think that's going to be okay. So what I'm going to do now is just mix up a little bit of epoxy resin, and we'll glue this in. Okay, so I just mixed up a little bit of epoxy. If you're joining me for the first time, because this series, Build a Sopwith Camel's had quite a new lease of life, so it's doing quite well. So these are the epoxies I'm using, this araldite, so it's been working really well. Okay, so like I said, it's got quite a nice gluing area there. So this is all trellising, so we can't put too much glue on that because I don't think we'll have quite probably bits where it miss. So what I'm going to do is just put some down this edge. Don't want too much on. And then, like I say, we've got a nice gluing surface there. So I'm going to run some along this trellising part there. Not on this front edge yet, because we've still got this nose cone kind of goes on just to make sure everything lines up, and then we take it back off because we've got all the engine detail to go on this front section. And then just a little bit of epoxy on this bracket that's going to be fed in to the wing section. Okay, so now we're going to slide this down there again, and then over the exhaust pipe. So you get about 5 minutes with this epoxy, so it's not too bad. You get a bit of time to get everything all nice and lined up. So now I'm going to bring that nose cone back up. Yeah, so now I'm going to bring that clamp across. And like I say, it's not too bad at the bottom. It's mainly the top that's causing the issue. So I'm just going to get it in there and just squeeze that. Make sure I'm on the other side as well, because you don't want it to dry not lined up. Yeah, I think that's got that. Like I say, when we put the nose cone on later on in the build, we can clamp it and glue it on the front edge. Then we'll just squeeze them parts nicer at the front. So I'll just put a bit of direct pressure onto that just to help the glue set on that little section there. And then we'll put one just on there, just for good luck. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to show you this video for, just because, like I say, if you don't get that join right, and once it's all gone off, it's just never going to look, never going to quite right. So literally, I'll leave that now for about half an hour, and then we'll come back, and then I'll just fit this little section that I've been working on as well. I'm not going to glue it in, but it just it fits in. Just well, in fact, I can actually fit that kind of now. There's no clamps in the way of that. Yeah, so I built this exactly the same as I did the laminate on this part that I did in the last video. So if you want to see how I added this real wood effect, you can go back and just watch that video. But yeah, this part's going to look really nice when that sits just there. It closes in all the fuel tanks. Yeah, it's going to look really awesome, this build. Okay, so let that dry and we'll just come back. Okay, so while the epoxy's drying on them parts I've just fitted, there's a couple more things where I can be doing while I'm waiting. So on this section, we added like this, I suppose it would be like a bit of a foam edge that went around the cockpit. So we've got a couple more to add to these little sections as well. So we kind of come with these little die cast parts. They have to be painted and kind of glued into that position just there. So I'll just quite easy, I'll show you how I did that. So I'm just literally using some Tamiya X1. Give these a little buff like I did with the other sections using the white wool attachment. I just took off any of the rough edges. And I found that the paint's absolutely taken absolutely fine, so we don't have to worry about any undercoat with these at all. It's just this Tamiya is painted on, absolutely no problems whatsoever. So right at the front of this trim, There's some little tiny nail heads on, so when the leather was stretched over, then it was obviously just nailed in place. So we're just going to kind of highlight them just to make them stand out a little bit more. So I'm just going to use this this dry brush. This is actually a dry brush, which I've found really good. It's from that I can never pronounce it, but it's from the 502 range. And I'm going to use some of this actually this dry brush paint. So obviously it's designed specifically for dry brushing. This is just a light metal, so it's a little bit thicker. I mean, it kind of works straight out the tin. Like I say, years ago we used to have to make all his own kind of like dry brushing paint. So I'm just going to dab a bit on and then literally take it all off until all it's doing is really just slightly highlighting. All I do is gently brush it over. All it'll just start to do is just pick up on the raised little rivet heads. And that's them all done. So if you feel like you catch any of the black part that you're not happy with, you can just come in with a little bit of a small paintbrush, small tip paintbrush, and then just take a little bit of the silver back, but that's not too bad, that. Okay, so that's now ready to just be glued on to this section. So all I'm going to do now is take a little bit of this epoxy resin I've just mixed all along that front edge, and then just glue in. It's got like a trench back of this cushion section. We'll just drop that into there. So then these two parts, once we fit it to the model, they're going to marry up quite nice. There is a gap there where that bracket goes to the support for the top by wing. So yeah, that's how it looks. Okay, so I've left these for quite some time, about a good hour and a half, 2 hours to actually dry, so should be absolutely fine now. Like I say, it's that nose cone. Obviously once that's all comes to the final gluing, then that will hold in a nice position now. But it was more importantly that I was getting that to be glued in the correct position. So like I say, when we finally glue this in, which we're going to glue all around there, then we can put a little bit of glue around that front edge. So when this is actually glued in, that will I'll put the clamps on that again, and that will glue it in the final position. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. It's going to it's going to be really nice. Okay, so now I'll just bring this this top section across that we looked at earlier. I'm not going to glue it in place yet, but I just want to kind of make sure that everything's starting to line up. And I've just added these little cushioned trim sections where we painted a second ago as well. So just offer these up just to kind of get a good idea just how everything will all start to line up. Same again, don't fit these yet because we've got these top brackets that are going to come up into the top section of the bi-wing. But yeah, quite happy with how all these parts have lined up. Like I said, this is one of the most important parts of the build, that we made sure that everything all fitted nice and true. Yeah, and I'm really happy with how that's going to look. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today's video. Like I say, we don't glue this nose cone on until we've fitted all the engine, and then say we've got some obviously some machine gunners to fit along this section. So yeah, but we really progressing this build. So anyway, hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you all again soon. Take care, everyone.